In the next 2 hours, we are going to see the important topics in the Java programming language that you should know. While you are watching this video, please make sure that you pause this video and practice on your own in the Eclipse IDE so that on different inputs you get different outputs. So let's get started. Java tutorials for beginners. So guys, by the end of this video series, you will be able to write perfect basic Java programs in order to meet your requirements. So guys, the very first video in this video series that we are going to learn about is how we can install Java on our machine and how can we write the first code in Java. So guys, before installing Java is a high level programming language. So it is a programming language that you can use, and Java runs on a variety of platforms such as Windows, Mac OS and the various versions of Unix. Apart from this, you can also make mobile apps using Java in Android phones. So guys, Java programming language can be used in multiple applications. Java is a must for students and working professionals to become a great software engineer, especially when they are working in a software development domain. So guys, if you are in a field of computer science or information technology and you are a student right now, so it is very important that you learn Java so that it becomes very helpful for you in future. Along with that, if you are a working professional, then also you should know the basic concepts of Java and how you can use Java as a programming language in order to meet your requirements of the software. So guys, let us now move to the Java JDK installation, and I'll show you how you can easily install JDK on your machine. So guys, I have given the link over here of JDK. The same link I will give in the description section as well. So once you open this link, this page will get opened, and in this page you can see the different sections of the operating system. So in case your operating system is Linux, you can download one of these files, and if it is Windows, then you can come over here and download one of the installer files. So guys, this is the .exe file you can easily install on your Windows machine. Since I am working on Windows machine, I have already downloaded this .exe file and installed on my machine. Guys, after installing JDK and providing the path in the environment variables, you can easily verify whether JDK is installed on your machine or not. So if you are on Windows, you can go to command prompt, that is on start you can type cmd, and then guys over here you can type Java followed by a space character, and then we have hyphen, and then we have version. So guys, after pressing on enter, you can see open JDK version 1.8. Guys, it may so happen that the JDK version is installed when you are watching this video. So right now 1.8 is the version that I am using. In future you can use the updated JDK version as well. And guys, this is the confirmation that Java is successfully installed on your machine, and you can go ahead with writing of Java programs. Now guys, after installing Java, we have to install one of the IDEs. So either you can write in the simple notepad editor as well, but we also have other IDEs that will help us to write our Java programs effectively and efficiently. One of the IDE is Eclipse. So this is the link that I will be providing in the description section as well. Once you open that link, this is the page that is going to open, and then you can easily install Eclipse IDE on your machine. And guys, since I have already installed Eclipse IDE, this is the IDE that it will look like. Guys, I'm using the dark theme over here since I like the dark background, and also to help you guys if you are watching this video at night without any lights, so it should not put much pressure on your eyes. Guys, it is completely your preference whether you want to work in the light mode or in the dark mode. Now guys, we will see how we can write the very first code in Java. So writing first code, and you can see this is the syntax. That is, first we write public, which is the visibility. So guys, this we are going to learn in the upcoming videos as well. So no need to worry about what are these different things over here for now. But we will be using the features of this IDE in order to auto-complete few things, and this is one of them. So guys, no need to worry about this syntax and no need to memorize it as such. But then with practice, you will come to know what are the different keywords that you are supposed to use whenever you create a new class or a new method. So guys, after this visibility, that is public, we have class keyword followed by the name of the class, and inside these curly braces, as you can see, this is the starting curly braces and this is the ending curly braces. Inside this we have a function. So this is public static void main. So guys, this is a function. Now this void means it is not returning anything. So with every function we should have a return type. In this case it is void, and then this is the arguments that it is passing to the main function. And after this function name we have open and close brackets, inside which we have the list of arguments that we can pass to the main function. And then guys, we are just printing this hello world over here using this system.out.println method. So guys, we will learn all this with the help of example now, so no need to worry, we will go step by step. So the very first thing that we come over here and do is create a Java project. So as you can see on the left, you can click on this create a Java project, and then you will be asked for a project name. So what we are going to do is we are going to type Java project, and then guys, there is no need to change any of the options over here, and then we are simply going to click finish. So this will create a project for us, and it is asking create module info.java. So I will say don't create for now. And guys, this is the project that we have created, that is Java project. So when we expand this, we just have to double click on this. So after double clicking, you can see the different folders that are present inside this Java project. So guys, this is the structure of the project explorer, and inside source all our Java codes will go. So guys, inside source we are going to write the very first code. So over here what we are going to do is this src folder, we are supposed to right click over here, and you can see this new option, and then under this new option you can select this class option. So as you can see, we are going to create a Java class. So we click on this, and then we are going to give the name of the Java class. So I will give the name as Java test class. And then guys, the next step over here is which method stubs would you like to create. So as you can see, we have public static void main. This function is already mentioned over here along with the parameter. So we can just tick this checkbox over here so that it automatically creates this function for us while creating this test class. So we are going to click on finish now. And guys, as you can see, we have the public class, that is Java test class, automatically written over here for us. And then we also have the public static void main. This is because we have checked that checkbox over there. We can simply remove this comment over here, and then I'll remove this. So guys, as you can see, these lines of codes were automatically written for us when we created a new Java project. Along with that, we created a new Java test class, and then we checked the checkbox of creating the main function as well. So guys, the only thing that we are supposed to do is inside this we are supposed to write this code. So what I'm going to do is type system, which starts with a capital S and then YSTEM. Guys, there is a very important feature of Eclipse. It helps us in order to autocomplete few of the keywords. When I type system, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to hold the control key followed by pressing a spacebar key. So when I press this, as you can see, you can get the list of all the keywords which you can autocomplete. So guys, the very first keyword we want to use, and then followed by a dot, and then as you can see, it is automatically providing us some of the keywords that we can use. So out of this, we are going to use this out, that is out over here. We press enter and then followed by dot, and then we want to use the print statement. So guys, these are many methods that you can use. So in this list of method, we are going to use the print method over here, as you can see. So I can simply type print, and those methods that start with print keyword will be suggested to us. So guys, over here what we are going to do is I'm going to print the statement. So it is going to be print string. Guys, there is one important difference over here. As you can see, we have this print. We also have something called as println. So the only difference between print and println is the print statement will print the string, and then there will be no new line character. So it will not go to the new line character, whereas the println will automatically go to the new line character. So guys, I'll show you this with the help of example. So the very first example that we are going to take is of the println. So I will do println, and then we will print a string, that is the name of this YouTube channel, that is programming for beginners. So guys, let me save this code. So over here you can do save all. Guys, these are some of the icons that you can use in Eclipse. I did not find any way to increase the size of these icons. So in case you know about it, please comment in the comment section below. So guys, after saving this file, what we are going to do is we are supposed to run this file in order to check what the Java program will do for us. So guys, here you can see a run symbol. So when you hover over it, you can see run Java test class.java, and then besides it you have a drop down arrow as well. So when we click on that, you have run as well, and then inside this run as you can say Java application. So guys, it is the same thing. So when you press on Java application, this program will get executed. So let me press over here, that is Java application. So as you can see, the console can be seen over here by default. You can get this console at the bottom of the screen. So I'll just hold it and get it at the bottom of the screen. And in this way, you can see in the console that programming for beginners string got printed. And guys, in this way, we can write the very first code, that is printing a statement in the Java code. Now guys, let me show you another print statement over here. In order to make it more shortcut, what we can do is we can type SYSO. And then guys, we can hold the control key followed by the space bar key. So when we press this, you can see SISOUT. For this very first option, we are supposed to press enter. So we press enter and automatically the system.out.println statement will get written for you over here, and then you can write your string over here inside this double quotes. So guys, it is very important to note that the characters that we are writing, we have to provide inside these double quotes. So again, we are providing double quotes over here, and then we can type this is another statement. And then let me save this file and try running this code. So I'll press over here, run Java test class. So as you can see, we have two lines got printed over here, that is programming for beginners, and then this is another statement. Now guys, what is the difference between println and print? So as I told you, when we remove this ln part, so let me just remove this ln part over here and this ln part as well. So let me just save this file and try running this code. So let us see what will happen over here. So as you can see, programming for beginners. So this string got printed over here, but then the next statement, that is this is another statement, was continued on the same line over here. That means it did not go in the next line. So guys, in order to go to the next line after printing a specific string, we are supposed to provide the println statement. So let's say if we want programming for beginners to be printed, and then this is another statement string to be printed on the next line, then we are supposed to provide println statement for the very first string. So let me just save this file and try running this code. So as you can see, programming for beginners got printed, and since we had provided println, the output control will go to the new line, and then the next string, that is this is another statement, will get printed on the second line. Now if we have any third statement, so it will be continued on the second line because we are using print method over here. And guys, in this way we can easily write the first Java code, understanding main method in Java. So guys, this is the entry point, that is the main method is the entry gate for program execution. So in every Java program we have to have the main method, and this is the way that we write the main method as we have seen previously. So guys, what I am going to do is I'll just remove this part, that is the main method, and I'll just keep public class Java test class. So how do we write the main method over here? The very first keyword that we write is public, which is a visibility, and then followed by space we have the static keyword. So static, and then we have the return type. So in this main method we are not returning anything, which means we are not returning any value from this function. So we write void and then space followed by the function name, that is main. And then guys, we have open and close brackets, and inside this bracket we have the list of strings that can be passed to this main method. So we have string, and then we have open and close square brackets. So guys, this is the way that we use the open and close brackets in order to expect that there will be a list of strings that will be provided to this main method, and then followed by the name of the argument. So we'll just put args. So this is nothing but this is the name of the argument. We can have any variable name over here. We can have arguments as well. So we can type arguments, and then followed by open and close curly braces, and inside this curly braces we will have our lines of codes. So guys, let us print something on the screen. So we will type SYSO, followed by we will hold the control key and then space bar key, and then after this list appears we will press enter. So as you can see, system.out.println got automatically written over here, and inside this we will type our string, that is programming for beginners. So guys, let me save this and try running this code. So as you can see, we have programming for beginners over here. Let's say we want to print the arguments that are being passed, but guys, over here we do not have any values being provided to the arguments over here, but still we can print something over here. So what we will do is we will type the values of arguments are, and then colon, and then followed by, we can have another string that we can concatenate. So guys, concatenation is nothing but combining two strings or multiple strings. So in order to combine multiple strings, we provide a plus character, and then after this space we provide another string value. So let me show you with a string value over here. So let's say the values of arguments are, and we will type something over here. We will type not provided, and then let me save this file and try running this code. So as you can see, what we have done is the values of arguments are, this is one string over here including the space after the colon, and then we have written not provided over here, which is a string that is concatenated to this string. And guys, in this way we can use this concatenation in order to combine multiple strings over here inside this println method. So guys, what we are going to do is we are going to use this arguments variable over here. So I'll just copy, and whenever we are using the variables, there is no need to provide the double quotes. So without providing the double quotes, we will provide arguments. So let me save this file and try running this code. So as you can see, the values of arguments are, so guys, basically what you need to understand over here is, in order to write the main method, we can write it in this way, that is public static void main followed by open and close brackets, and inside this it will take the list of strings that can be passed from a command prompt or from any other program. And guys, inside that we can have our lines of codes that will be printed on the screen, or some other arithmetic operations being done using the Java program. Arithmetic operators in Java. So guys, these are some of the arithmetic operators in Java that we can use. So as you can see, we have addition operator, subtraction, multiplication, division, remainder, and then we can increment or decrement the values of the variables as well. So guys, let us understand all this with the help of examples. So guys, previously we have seen how we can define the integer variables. So we have to provide the int data type followed by the variable name. So let's say we have number 1 and equal to, we have the value of number as 5. And let us say guys, we have another number. So we provide int, and then we have number 2 equal to 10. And then guys, let us say we want to add both these numbers and print the addition of both these numbers over here on console. So what we are going to do is, we are having another variable of data type int, and then we have the variable name as sum, which will contain the sum of these two numbers. And then what we will do is, we will provide the variable names, that is number 1, and then we use this plus sign. This is the arithmetic operator that we can use in order to add numbers. So after the plus sign, we have another number, that is number 2 followed by semicolon. And guys, in this way we can add two numbers using the variable names. So as you can see, it is being assigned to the sum, and then what we will do is, we will just print the statement. So let me print this, the sum is, and then after this we have plus sign, and then followed by sum. Guys, it is important to note that we are providing the sum is, so this is the string, and then we are concatenating the value of the number over here with this plus sign. So the plus operator over here, it is for concatenation and it is not for adding two numbers. So the plus operator is having different functionalities based on the values that it is being used with. So let me just save this file and try running this code. So as you can see, we have the sum is 15. So we can simply change the numbers over here. We can have 15, that is number 1, and we can have the number 2 as 12. Let me save this file and try running this code. So as you can see, we have the sum is 27, and in this way you can easily add two numbers. Guys, similarly we have other operators as well, that is subtraction. So we can easily subtract two numbers. So let's say we want number 1 minus number 2, and the difference being stored in a variable. So we provide the minus operator over here, and then let me change the variable name to difference, and let me just copy this and paste this over here instead of sum. Let me save this file and try running this code. So as you can see, the sum is 3, so we missed to paste the difference over here as well. So the difference, so basically it is doing 15 minus 12, that is the difference will be 3. Let me save this file and try running this code. So the difference is 3 over here. In the same way we can do multiplication as well. So instead of this minus, we can provide the multiplication operator. So we have the product variable over here, So let me provide the variable name as product. Let me copy this, paste this over here, and we'll paste it to the variable name that is being used. Let me save this file and try running this code. So as you can see, it is doing the product is 180. That means 15 multiplied by 12, which is 180. Let us move to another operator. We have divide operator. So guys, over here we can easily divide the two numbers. So let's say we have number 1 divided by number 2. We will provide the variable name as division over here. Let me copy this and paste this over here and paste this over here. Now guys, let us see what will be the output of division when this number, that is 15, cannot be exactly be divided by this 12. So we'll just run this code. So as you can see, the division is 1. Guys, it is important to note over here that this will return the quotient of the division. So 15 divided by 12, in this case the quotient will be 1, and that is what is being printed over here in the division. So in order to get the remainder, we have another operator, that is percentage operator. So instead of this divide, we can have percentage. Let me change the variable name to remainder over here. And then we just copy this and paste this over here and paste this over here. Let me save this file and try running this code. So 15 divided by 12, the remainder will be 3. And in this way we can get the remainder as well. Now guys, two more important operators. These are increment and decrement. So this will just increment the value by 1, which means whatever value a variable is having, 1 will be added to that value and it will be stored in that particular variable. And this decrement is opposite to increment. So 1 will be subtracted from the variable's value. So let us understand this with the help of examples. So let's say we just have a number, that is number 1 equal to 15, and what if we just want to increment it? So what we can do is we can just put number 1 plus plus. So guys, this is the way we can use the increment, that is after the variable name we can provide the plus plus operator, that is the increment operator, and then we can provide the value is and then the name of the variable. So I'll just copy this and paste this over here. Let me save this file and try running this code. So as you can see, the value is 16. Guys, another way of providing this increment operator is instead of providing the plus plus operator after the variable, we can provide it before the variable as well. So we can do plus plus number 1 as well. Let me save this file and try running this code. So as you can see, the value is 16. And in this way you can easily use the increment operator. Let's say you want to use a decrement operator. So instead of having plus plus, we can have minus minus and then variable. So we have the value is 14. So the value was 15, but now we have decremented it. So 1 was removed from it. So now the value is 14. So guys, in this way we can easily use the increment and decrement operators as well. Guys, there is a question for you over here. Let's say I want to increment the value of number 1 variable, but inside this println statement, what if I do number 1 plus plus over here? What will be the output? I want you to comment below the answer for this, that is what statement will be printed, the value is, so what number will be printed over here. So please comment below and let me know your answer. Conditional if else statement in Java programming. So guys, this is one of the important lessons that you should know in pretty much any programming language. So over here, what is the syntax is, we start with the if keyword followed by some condition inside this open and close brackets. So guys, the program execution flow goes in this way. So over here, inside this, if we provide a condition and if that condition is true, then inside these curly braces, the lines of codes will get executed. So whenever the condition that we provide in the if statement is true, the control flow goes to the block of code that is inside these curly braces, or else when the condition is false inside this if statement, the control flow goes to the else part. So inside this else part, we have the curly braces and then we have another block of code that can be executed. So guys, let us understand this with the help of example over here. So let's say we have an integer. Let's say we have the integer as number. It is equal to 5. And then guys, we want to check whether a number that is provided in the variable number is less than 10 or not. So we can provide the if statement. So we have if statement followed by open and close brackets, and inside this we have to check the condition, that is this number. We have used this variable name followed by less than sign, and then we have the number that is 10 that we want to compare it with. So guys, what we are trying to do is we are going to check whether this number variable is less than this value, that is 10. Now guys, this is one of the relational operators. Similarly, we have many relational operators that we are going to learn in the upcoming videos as well. So no need to worry about it. For now, you just need to understand that we are checking whether this number is less than 10 or not. And then if it is less than 10, then we are going to print a statement. So let me print the statement as number is less than 10. And guys, this is a statement that will get printed over here. And if the number is not less than 10, which means it can be equal to 10 or greater than 10, so we have the else part. So after this if statement, as you can see, we have this if statement followed by the curly braces. After the closed curly braces, we can immediately have the else part. Now guys, this is optional. If you don't want to have the else part, you can just remove it and you can completely ignore it. We can also run our program with the if statement as well. Let me just save this file and try running this code. So guys, as you can see, number is less than 10 is getting printed over here. Now guys, what if we don't have the else part, but this condition is also not true? So for now it is true, but then let's say we change the number to 15, in which case the number is not less than 10. So let me just save this file and try running this code. So as you can see, nothing got printed over here. This is because this condition was not true, that is number less than 10. This condition is false over here, and the control flow did not go inside this block in order to print this statement. And then after this, there was the end of the program. So guys, this is where we can use the else part. That is, if the condition in the if statement is false, we can have the else part. So we can put else, and then after this else, we have to provide open and close curly braces, and inside this we can have our statement. So let me print another statement over here. So we can say number is not less than 10. So let me just save this file and try running this code. So previously this string was not getting printed, but now since we are having the else part, the string, that is number is not less than 10, will get printed. So as you can see, number is not less than 10 is getting printed. Now let us change the number. Let's say the number is 9 over here, and let me save this file and try running this code. So as you can see, number is less than 10 because the value of the number is 9 over here. And in this way, we can easily use the if else statement in order to check a particular condition, and accordingly we can print some statements or do some manipulations as well. Let us now change the value over here to 10. And let me just save this file. So guys, what do you think, which statement will get printed? Whether the number is less than 10 or whether the number is not less than 10? I want you to answer in the comment section below. So consider this as a homework for you. Equality and relational operators in Java programming. So guys, these are some of the equality and relational operators that we can use. Mostly it is used between two numbers in order to compare them and to check whether the numbers are greater than or equal to each other or not. So guys, this is the first relational operator, that is greater than. So as you can see, this is a greater than symbol, and the example can be, let's say, a number a if it is greater than b, and if it is actually greater than b, then it will return true, or else if a is smaller than b, then it will return false. Guys, in the same way, we have the reverse of greater than, that is less than, and you can see this is the sign, and we have a less than b as the example, and then based on the number values, it will either return true or false. And in this way, guys, we have greater than or equal to, in which it will also check whether it is greater than or it can be equal to. Guys, the only important difference between this greater than or equal to and greater than is that it will also check whether this a is equal to b in this greater than or equal to. Whereas if a is equal to b over here, so still it will return false since we are not providing the equal to symbol over here. So this we will see with the help of example as well. Again, we have less than or equal to, and then we have equal to equal to. If both the numbers, that is a and b, are equal, then it will return true, or else it will return false. And then in the end we have not equal to. So if they are not equal to each other, then it will return true. So guys, let us see all this with the help of example over here. So let's say we have two numbers, that is num1, it is equal to 10, and then we have another number, that is num2, it is equal to 20. Now guys, these relational operators are very much used with the combination of this if else statement which we have seen previously. So in the if condition, we have to provide the relational operator, and based on the outcome, if it is true, then this block of code will get executed, or else the control flow will go to the else part and this block of code will get executed. So guys, let us check this with the help of example over here. So let's say we have the if statement, and then inside the brackets we have to provide the relational operators by using these numbers. So let's say num1 is less than num2. So first we will check whether the number is less than another number or not, and then what we will do is inside the open and close curly braces we will print the statement that is num1 is less than num2. Since guys we are checking whether num1 is less than num2 or not, so num1 is less than num2 when this condition is true. And after this if condition we can also put else. Inside the curly braces we can put num1. I'll just copy the statement over here. So num1 is, we can put not less than num2. Since this condition becomes false, it will go in the else part. So let me just save this file and try running this code. So as we can see, num1 is less than num2. So num1 is actually 10 and the num2 value is actually 20. So num1 is less than num2 over here. Now guys, let us change the value of this num2 in such a way that num1 is greater than num2. So num2 is equal to 5. Let me save this file and try running this code. So as we can see, num1 is not less than num2. Since this is checked whether 10 is less than 5 or not, no in this case. So this condition will become false over here, and then the control flow will go to the else part in which num1 is not less than num2 will get printed. Now guys, let us check the reverse of this, that is num1 greater than num2 or not. We will change a string over here, that is num1 is greater then num2, and then the same thing we will copy and paste this over here, that is it is not greater than num2. Let me just save this file and try running this code over here. So as we can see, num1 is greater than num2 because actually num1 which is 10 is greater than num2 which is equal to 5 over here. Now let me just change the value of this to 15, in which case num1 will not be greater than num2 in this case. So let me save this file and try running this code. So as we can see, num1 is not greater than num2. Now guys, what happens when we make the num1 and num2 equal to each other? So let me just change the value of num2 to 10, and then in this case it will check whether num1 is greater than num2 or not. In this case it is not, since it is equal to. So let me save this file and try running this code to see what happens. So as you can see, num1 is not greater than num2 in this case. That's because this condition is false and the control flow goes to the else part since it is equal to over here. Now what if we want to print this statement num1 is greater than num2 when both the numbers are equal as well? So guys, in that case what we can do is we can use greater than or equal to. So in this case it will be checked whether num1 is actually greater than or equal to num2. And guys, in this example, yes, num1 is equal to num2. So in this case num1 is greater than num2 will get printed over here. What we will do is num1 is greater than or equal to. We will just change the string so that it becomes sensible over here. So we have changed the string. So let me save this file and try running this code. So as we can see, num1 is greater than or equal to num2. And what if it is not greater than or equal to? So let's say we will increase the num2 value by 1, that is 11. So in this case num1 is not greater than num2 over here, nor it is equal to. So num1 is not greater than num2 is getting printed since the control flow goes to the else part. Now guys, let us check the equality and not equal to relational operators. So what we will do is, let's say I'll put the values for both the numbers as equal. What I will do is I will just change the string, that is num1 over here is equal to num2, and then over here num1 is not equal to num2. Not equal to num2. And then let me just save this file, and before running it I'll just change the relational operator over here, whereas num1 is equal to num2 or not. Let me save this file and try running this code. So as we can see, num1 is equal to num2. We have an extra is over here, so I'll just remove this. And what if we change the value in such a way that both the numbers are not equal? Let me save this file and try running this code. So as we can see, num1 is not equal to num2. So over here the control flow goes. And guys, in order to print this statement over here, we can remove this equal to operator, and instead of that we can put not equal to operator. In this way, the num1 is not equal to num2. In this case, yes, it is not equal, and this thing will get printed. So let me just change the string to yes over here, and we will change the string to no over here. So what we are trying to do is num1 not equal to num2? Yes, it is not equal. So let me run this. So it is coming as yes, and when it becomes equal to, so let me just change this value of num2 to 10. In this case, it is equal to. So is num1 not equal to num2? No, in this case. So it will go in the else part. So let me run this code. So as you can see, no is getting printed. And guys, in this way we can easily use the relational operators and quickly compare the numbers as far as Java programming is concerned. Logical operators in Java programming. So guys, these are some of the logical operators. As we can see, the very first logical operator is the AND operator. And guys, these are used in conjunction with the other relational operators as well. So as we can see, in order to have a single relational operator, we can only put a single relational operator that is greater than or less than symbol. But guys, let us say we want to check multiple conditions. That is, let's say A is greater than B and B is also greater than B. In this case, we have to use the AND operator, that is one of the logical operators. In this case, if both the conditions are true, then it will go in the block of code that is being followed after this condition, or else it will return false and it will go in the else part. Another logical operator is the OR operator. In this case, again, it will check whether this condition is satisfied or this condition is satisfied. Now guys, the only big difference between this AND operator and the OR operator is that when we are using the AND operator, all the conditions should be true in order to go to the following block of code. Whereas in the OR operator, only one condition is required to be true in order to go to the following block of code. And then guys, we have the NOT operator as well. So this we will check with the help of examples. So guys, let us move to the examples over here. Let me just clear the screen over here, and then we have int num1, it is equal to 10 in this case, and then we have int num2, it is equal to 20 in this case. Now guys, let us say we want to use the AND operator over here. So let's say we provide if num1 is greater than 5, which is in this case, yes, it is greater than 5 since the value is 10 over here. We provide the AND operator in this way over here, that is 2 ampersand symbols over here, and then after the space we can provide the other number. Let's say num2 is greater than 10, and yes, in this case the num2 is actually greater than 10. So what we will do is we will provide the print statement. We can just provide it as yes, and then in the else part what we will do is we will provide the print statement as no in this case. So guys, what we are doing over here is whether num1 is greater than 5. So this is one condition. In this case, yes, it is greater than 5, and the next condition, that is num2 is greater than 10, and then yes, in this case num2 is actually greater than 10. So both the conditions are satisfying over here, and both the conditions will return true. So what this logical operator does is it will check whether both the conditions, that is this condition and this condition, is true, and if it is true, then this line of code will get executed, that is this block of code will get executed, or else the control flow will go in the else part, and then this block of code will get executed. Let me save this file and try running this code over here. So as we can see, yes is getting printed. Now guys, let us say we want to change the condition, or else we want to change the value in such a way that one of the conditions is false over here. So let's say num1 is greater than 5, we want to make it as false. So what I will do is I will change the value to 4. In this case, num1 is greater than 5? No, because num1 value is 4 in this case. So this false will be encountered and the control flow will go to the else part. So let me just save this file and try running this code over here. So as we can see, no is getting printed. Guys, similarly, let's say instead of this condition, that is the first condition, we make the second condition as false. So let me just change the value of num1 to 10 again. And now what we will do is we will make this condition as false, that is num2 greater than 10. It should be no in this case. So I'll put the value of num2 as 9. So 9 is not greater than 10 over here. So let me save this file and try running this code. So as we can see, no is again getting printed since this condition is false over here. And guys, in this way, whenever we are using the logical operator of AND, all the conditions should be satisfied in order to go to this block of code over here. Now guys, let me go back to the original values, that is num2 is 20 and num1 is 10. Let me save this file and try running this code. So both the conditions are getting satisfied. Num1 greater than 5, yes it is. Num2 greater than 10, yes it is. So yes is getting printed. Now guys, I'll show you another example with the OR operator. So instead of this AND, we will put OR. Now guys, I have told you the only difference between AND and OR is that in the OR operator, it expects only one condition to be satisfied. So at least one of them, either this condition or this condition should get satisfied. If both the conditions are satisfied, then also it will execute this block of code. So let me just save this file and try running this code over here. So as we can see, yes is getting printed. Now guys, what we will do is we will put num1 greater than 5. We will change the value of num1 in such a way that this condition will return false. So let me go back to the num1 value and change it to 4 like we had done in the AND operator. And let me just save this file and try running this code. So as we can see, yes is getting printed in this case, whereas if we change the operator to AND over here and save this file and try running this code, so it goes to the no, that is in the else part. That's because AND is expecting all the conditions to be satisfied. So over here, one condition is not getting satisfied, that is num1 is greater than 5. But in the OR, what we can do is, I'll just change this to OR, save this file and try running this code. Yes is getting printed over here. This yes, that's because when num1 is greater than 5 is checked, it returns false. But OR can expect the other condition to be true. So the control flow goes to this condition, that is num2 greater than 10, yes in this case, and this returns true. So any one condition is returning true. That means OR will help us to execute this block of code that is in the if statement. And the same has happened over here. Yes is getting printed over here. Now what if this condition is also false? So let me just change this num2 to 9 in this case. And then let me just save this file and try running this code. So as we can see, no is getting printed. So the control flow is coming to this else part. That's because num1 greater than 5, no in this case. Num2 is greater than 10, no in this case. So both the conditions are false over here. So the OR doesn't allow to go in this block of code, and hence the control flow goes to the else part. Now guys, there is another important operator, that is the NOT operator. So this will just reverse the condition. So over here, as we can see, this is false and this is false. That is the reason the control flow is not printing this statement. But what if we just surround these conditions with the open and close brackets? So this entire thing is false for now, but what we can do is we can reverse this condition over here, that is false over here in this case will become true. So we can do that using the NOT operator. So as we can see, this NOT we have provided. So what is happening over here is this part is false. So in short, this has become false. So NOT of false will become true in this case, and this line of code will get printed. So let me just undo this part. Let me just save this file and try running this code. So as we can see, yes is getting printed over here. That's because we have done NOT over here. And in this way, we can easily use these logical operators based on the requirements. For loop in Java programming. Guys, as the name suggests, for loop, loop meaning doing repetitive task continuously up to a certain limit. So guys, as we can see over here, if you want to print something, let's say we want to print the numbers from 0 to 5. And in this way, we can use the for loop. Instead of having the multiple println statements, we can have just single println statement and change the value of the variable one at a time. And this is the format. We first declare a variable and assign a value to it, that is 0. And then after a semicolon, we have the condition, that is up to which value the variable should go. So we can use a relational operator, less than, or also we can use the less than or equal to operator, and then we increment the variable value. So we can do I++, or we can increment it by any other value as well, and then we can print the value. So guys, let us understand this with the help of examples. Now what we can do is, we'll clear the screen over here, and let's say I want to print the numbers from 0 to 5. So what I will do is I will just provide the println statement, and over here I can provide the value as 0, and then I'll just copy and paste these up to 5. So guys, this is one of the ways, which is not the best way in order to print some numbers over here on the screen. So I'll just save this file and try running this code. So as we can see, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 is getting printed. But guys, as I said, this is not the best way that we can print these numbers over here. Let's say we want to print from 0 to 100. So we cannot have the 100 lines of code over here. Instead of that, we can have the efficient for loop do the task for us. So I'll just remove this lines of code. And what I will do is we will use the for loop. So we have the for keyword and then we have the open and close brackets, and inside this we will have the variable that is, let's say, int, that is going from I, it is equal to 0. So guys, this is the initialization part. So we have three parts in the for loop. So the first is initialization part, where we declare a variable and initialize a value to it, and then we have a conditional part. So as you can see, we have a relational operator that we can use in order to check for a condition, and then we have the incrementation part, which increments the variable value. We can provide all these things in the for loop. So inside this we have the declaration part, and then we have a semicolon followed by the condition. So condition will be I less than or equal to 5. That's because we want to print from 0 to 5. So it must be less than or equal to. So in order to include the value 5, we have to provide the equal to sign and then semicolon followed by I plus plus. And then inside this we have curly braces, and let us print the value of I. So what I will do is I will provide the string, that is value of I is, and we have this variable name, that is I. So guys, what is happening over here is the very first thing, that is initialization, I is equal to 0, and then after this the control flow will check for the condition whether I is less than or equal to 5. Yes, it is. So it will go for the very first time inside these curly braces. So value of I is 0 will get printed. Now guys, what will happen is after this close curly braces is getting encountered, the control flow will go to the incrementation part, because first it needs to increment before checking for the condition as well. So I plus plus, meaning I will become 1 now, and then is 1 less than or equal to 5? Yes, in this case. So value of I will be 1, and then again the control flow encounters this closing curly braces, and then again we have I plus plus, in which case it will be 2. So 2 is less than or equal to 5? Yes, it is. So 2 will get printed, and in this way continuously in a loop I will go up to 5. And is 5 less than or equal to 5? Yes, it is. 5 will get printed over here, and then after this curly braces I plus plus will make the value of I equal to 6, and is 6 less than or equal to 5? No, in this case. So the control flow will come out of the loop and the program will end over here. So guys, let us save this file and try running this code. So as we can see, the values are printed over here. Let me just expand this. So value of I is 0, then value of I is 1, I is 2, 3, 4 and then 5, and then once the I's value becomes 6, this condition doesn't get satisfied and the control flow comes out of the loop. And guys, in this way we can easily use the for loop. Now guys, what if we want to check the latest value of I when the control flow comes out? So since the value of I is 6 now, so this 6 value should get printed. So let us confirm this with another print statement over here. What I will do is, over here we have latest value of I is, and then we have I over here. So let me save this file and try running this code. So I'll put latest. Let's run this code. So as we can see, error exists in required projects, Java project, proceed with launch, cancel. Let us see what is the error. So we have an error over here. I cannot be resolved to a variable. So guys, since we have provided the declaration of I within this for loop, so the context of this I variable is only within this for loop. So we cannot use this I variable outside of this for loop. So guys, in order to solve this problem, we have to declare the I variable before this for loop, that is outside this for loop. So we can do it in this way. So int I we have just declared over here, and then we are initializing it over here, that is I is equal to 0, and then this I can be used over here in this string, that is the latest value of I is I. So let me save this file and try running this code over here now. So as we can see, value of I is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and then 5, and then we have latest value of I is 6, and that is because I had become 6 over here in this case. That is the reason why the control flow went out of the for loop. So guys, in this way we can easily use the for loop. Now guys, what if we don't want to print every number, that is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, but instead we want to print the even numbers. So we know that I is 0 initially, so the next number that we want to print is 2, and then the next number that we want to print is 4. So what we can do is, instead of doing I++, which will just increment the value by 1, we can increment the value by 2 using I plus equal to operator, that is add and assign operator, and then we provide the value as 2 over here. So 0 will be printed first and then it will be incremented by 2, and based on the condition those numbers will get printed. So let me just save this file and try running this code so that we can see the output. So as we can see, value of I is 0 initially, and then I is incremented by 2, and is 2 less than or equal to 5? Yes it is, so 2 will get printed, and then again incremented by 2, so 2 plus 2 it is 4. So is 4 less than or equal to 5? Yes it is, so 4 will get printed, and then plus 2, so 4 plus 2 it becomes 6. So is 6 less than or equal to 5? No in this case, so the control flow comes out, and then the latest value of I is 6 over here, which is getting printed over here. Guys, there is another important consideration. If you don't want to initialize inside this for loop, we can also initialize it outside. So we can remove this and then we can initialize it over here. So as you can see, I equal to 0 we have initialized, and we have not provided the initialization over here. So let me save this file and try running this code. It should give us the same output, that is 0, 2 and then 4. Let us check another example where we want to print the odd numbers. So let's say I starts from 1 and then we increment it by 2 every time. So let me save this file and try running this code. So as we can see, we have 1 and then 3 and then 5 and then 7. All are the odd numbers. That's because we started with the odd number, that is 1, and then we incremented the value of I by 2 every time. So guys, in this way we can easily use the for loop in order to repeat some task multiple times. Guys, over here we have seen just the print statement. You can also do some arithmetic operations as well, like addition of numbers or subtraction of numbers as well. So any arithmetic operations or number manipulations can be done inside the for loop. Guys, it is very important that you practice on your own, so that based on the different inputs you can get the different outputs, and you will increase the level of understanding in Java programming. While loop in Java programming. So guys, this is the format of the while loop. It is similar to a for loop that we have seen previously. The only difference between for loop and while loop is that in the while loop we only provide the condition that we want the control statement to go inside these curly braces, whereas in the for loop we were also dealing with the initialization of the variable as well as the incrementation part of the variable that we are using as a iterator. So guys, this is the format. After the while keyword, inside the brackets we have the condition up to which the iteration should go, and then inside these curly braces we have the block of code to get executed. So guys, this we are going to understand with the help of examples. Also guys, we are going to see the do while loop, which will help us in order to execute the block of code that is inside these curly braces at least once. So guys, what happens is, let's say if I is not less than 5 in this case during the first step, so no line of code will get executed from this block of code. But guys, the do keyword over here will help to execute this block of code over here at least once, and then guys, the while condition will help us check whether the condition is satisfying or not, and then going back again to the block of code after the do keyword. So guys, let us understand all this with the help of examples over here. So guys, first we will understand the while loop. So let us say we have an integer I, so I it is equal to 0, so we have to initialize the integer outside the while loop over here, because in the while loop we will only have the condition and the incrementation part. So guys, we have initialized the variable I over here. Now we want to print the first 5 numbers. So let's say we want to go from 0 to 4. So guys, what we will do is, after this while keyword we have the open and close brackets, and then what we will do is I less than or equal to 4. So we are including 0, so it will be 0 to 4, that means the first 5 numbers. And then guys, after this condition, that is I is less than or equal to 4, we will have the curly braces. So we have open and close curly braces, and then inside this, let us say we want to print the numbers, that is we want to print the I value. So guys, we will do system.out.print println, and instead of this println, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use the print so that all the numbers will get printed on the same line. So guys, what we will do over here is we will put the value of I, that is I, and then we have to append it by a space character. So after the plus operator, we will do double quotes and then a space character inside this double quote. So guys, what will happen is first the value of I is 0. So the control flow will go to this while keyword and then it will check whether I is less than or equal to 4. Yes, it is. So over here the I value will get printed, which is 0, and then after that space will get appended. And then again guys, in order to come back over here, before coming back to this condition again, we have to increment the value of I, or else it will be the infinite program just printing the 0 value of the I. So guys, over here we are incrementing the value of I by using I++ and then semicolon. So guys, what will happen is after the 0 gets printed, I will be incremented by 1. So the value will be 1, and then again the control flow will go and check over here whether I is less than or equal to 4. Yes, in this case, since the I value is 1 right now, so 1 will get printed and space character will be appended. And then guys, I++, the value of I will be 2, and then again is 2 less than or equal to 4. Yes, it is. So 2 will get printed, and in the similar way up to the value 4 will get printed. And once the value 4 is getting printed, I++ will make the value of I equal to 5 over here, and then the control flow will come back again to check whether the value of I, which is 5 right now, is it less than or equal to 4? No, in this case. So the control flow will come out of this while loop, and in this way we can easily print the numbers from 0 to 4. So guys, let us save this file and try running this code. So as you can see, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So these 5 numbers are getting printed over here. Now guys, let us say we want to print 10 numbers, that is 1 to 10. So what I will do is instead of I equal to 0, I will make I equal to 1, and then what I will do is I is less than or equal to 10, including 10 as the number. Let us save this file and try running this code. So guys, as you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4 up to 10 numbers are getting printed over here, and in this way we can easily use the while loop as an alternative of a for loop. So guys, it depends on you whether you want to use the for loop or a while loop. Now guys, another important variation over here of the while loop is a do while loop, which will help you to execute the block of code at least once. So guys, what I will do over here is, before showing you the example of a do while loop, what I will do is the I value is 1 over here, and I want the condition to be I less than 1. So 1 is not included in this case. That means I can go to a maximum value of 0. So in this case, what will be the output? So let us save this file and try running this code to see what will be the output. So guys, as you can see, it shows terminated. That means nothing gets printed over here. That's because I value is 1 right now and I less than 1 no in this case. So the control flow did not go inside this block of code in order to print this statement. Now guys, let us say we want to execute this block of code at least once, irrespective of what is the condition in the while loop that we have mentioned. So guys, what we will do is we will just cut this, and then after this block of code we will paste the while condition over here. So this is the way that we provide the do while loop, and before the block of code we have to provide the do keyword. So guys, what is happening over here? Do keyword will help the control flow go inside this block of code and execute this line of code, that is the value of I will get printed first, which is 1 right now, and then I++. So the value of I will become 2 now, and then it will be checked whether I is less than 1 using this while keyword. Now guys, very important thing over here, whenever you're using a do while loop, after this while condition we have to provide a semicolon. So this is the syntax that we have to follow. So guys, let us save this file and try running this code. So as we can see, 1 is getting printed. So the initial value of I was 1, which we were not able to print when we were putting just the while condition, in which case the condition was false initially. But the do while loop will help us in order to execute this block of code at least once, and that is the reason why this print statement got executed and the value of I got printed, that is 1. And then after I++, the value of I will be 2, and then the while condition will be checked by the control flow. So is I less than 1? No in this case, because I's value is 2 right now. So the control flow will not go back to this block of code. Now guys, let us see another example in such a way that the control flow goes back to this block of code again inside this do keyword. So guys, what we will do is I equal to 1, and then what I can do is I less than 5. So let us see this. Let us save this file and try running this code. So how many numbers are getting printed? 1, 2, 3 and then 4. So once the i's value is 4, I plus plus will make the value as 5, and then inside this while condition we have I less than 5. No, in this case, because 5 is not less than 5, so the control flow will come out of this block of code. And guys, in this way we can easily use the do while loop as well in order to execute the block of code at least once before checking the condition in the while loop. So control statements in Java programming. So guys, these are two of the most important keywords that we can use in the loops, that is break keyword and continue keyword. So guys, the functionality of the break keyword is it breaks the flow of execution in loops. So we are going to check this with the help of examples as well. And then the continue keyword is the opposite of the break keyword, which continues the flow of execution to the next iteration. So guys, let us understand both of these keywords with the help of example. So guys, what we will do is we will use a for loop in this case. Let me just clear the screen. So what I am going to do is we have a for loop, and inside this for loop we have int I. It is going from 0 and then I less than 10. That means it will go from the number 0 to 9. 10 is not included in this case since we have used the less than symbol, and then after semicolon we are doing I plus plus. Now guys, what we want to do is irrespective of what condition we have put, that is in this case we have put I less than 10, that means the numbers will go from 0 to 9, but let's say we want to print only the numbers from 0 to 5. So what I am going to do over here is, let me just print the statement over here, that is print ln, and instead of this print ln we will just put the print so that we get all the numbers in one line. So guys, what I'm going to do over here is I will put the value of I and then followed by a space character. So plus operator followed by double quotes and a space character inside these double quotes. So guys, let me just save this file and try running this code so that we'll see what will be the output. So as you can see, the numbers 0 to 9 is getting printed and 10 is not included in this case. Now guys, let us say we just want to print the numbers from 0 to 5 and then we want to come out of this for loop. So what we can do is, once the i's value is 5 over here, the I, that is the value 5, will get printed, and after this we can have the if condition. So if I is equal to 5. So if the i's value is 5 currently, what we can do is we can break, that is come out of this loop. So guys, the break keyword works in this way. We can just provide the break keyword followed by the semicolon, that is the end of the line, and the control flow will come out of this loop inside which the break keyword is placed. So guys, let us understand this. Let us save this file and try running this code now. So as you can see, 0 to 5 is getting printed. That's because after the value of I is equal to 5, we are checking whether I is equal to 5 or not, and then it will break, that is it will come out of the loop. So every time the execution is coming inside this loop, I is being checked whether it is equal to 5, and whenever it is not equal to 5, the control flow will not see this break statement, and this will help the control flow to go back to this for loop again. And we have seen the functionality of the for loop previously as well, and based on this break keyword we can limit the number of digits that can be printed on the screen. Now guys, let us understand the functionality of another keyword, that is continue, which is opposite to the break keyword. So guys, let me clear this break keyword for now, and I'll just save this file and try running this code so that all the numbers get printed, that is 0 to 9. Now guys, what I want to do is I just want to print the odd numbers, that is 1, 3, 5, 7 and 9. That means I don't want to print the even numbers that are present in between them. So guys, one way that I can do the same thing is by starting from the number 1 and then incrementing it by 2, which we have seen previously as well. But guys, we will use another method in order to achieve the same functionality using the continue keyword. So what I will do is, currently all the numbers are getting printed, that is 0 to 9. But what we can do is we can provide the if condition at the start of the for loop. So inside this if condition we can check whether a number is an even number or an odd number. So what I can do is we can do I %2, which means I will get divided by 2, and then whatever the remainder is that remainder will be returned in this condition. And then whatever remainder is there, we are going to check whether it is equal to 0 or not. So guys, if you know something about mathematics, so whenever you are dealing with even numbers, whenever you divide these even numbers by 2, the remainder will be always 0. And this is what we are trying to do. Whenever there is an even number, we divide it by 2 over here, and we are going to check whether the remainder is 0 or not. If it is an odd number, then the remainder will be 1. So in this case, the condition will be false. But whenever there is an even number, the remainder will be 0 in this case, and the condition will be true. And whenever there is a condition that is true in this case, what we are going to do is we are going to use the continue keyword. So guys, the functionality of the continue keyword is in this way. So whenever this condition is true, the control flow will encounter this continue keyword, and in whichever loop the continue keyword is present, it will make the control flow to go back at the starting of the loop over here. So again, all these conditions will get executed. So guys, the only important thing that you should know is whenever this continue keyword is encountered, the rest of the lines of code after this continue keyword will not get executed, but the control flow will automatically go to the start of the for loop that is in this condition. So let me just save this file and try running this code in order to print only odd numbers. So as you can see, only odd numbers are getting printed over here. That is 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. That's because whenever the even numbers were encountered in this if condition, we placed the continue keyword, which will make the control flow go back to the for loop again. And in this way, the even numbers were not getting printed. Now guys, let us do the opposite of this. Let's say we want to print the even numbers, but not the odd numbers. So we have to make this condition true for even numbers, in which case, whenever there is an odd number that is getting divided by 2, the remainder will be 1 every time. So we will make the value as 1 over here. Let me just save this file and try running this code. So as you can see, the odd numbers are left out and the even numbers are getting printed now. That is 0, 2, 4, 6 and then 8. And then after 8, the i's value is 9, in which case 9% 2 is actually equal to 1, and then continue statement will make the control flow go back to this for loop, and then i's value will be incremented by 1, which will make the value of I equal to 10, and then is 10 less than 10? No, in this case. So the control flow will come out of this for loop. And guys, in this way we can easily use the break keywords and the continue keywords as well. Arrays in Java programming. So guys, array is nothing but it is a collection of similar types of data. So let's say previously we have seen a single integer data type. So array can help us in order to store a list of integer data type. So over here, as you can see, we have int and then followed by open and close brackets. This means that we are trying to store an array. So array is nothing but it is the list of elements of the same data type. So this is the list of numbers, and in the other way we can also have the list of string as well. So for example, if we want to store the names of 100 people, then we can create an array of the string data type that can store 100 names, and these are some of the applications of the Java arrays. So guys, let us understand this with the help of examples. Now we'll go to the Eclipse and I'll clear the screen over here. Now guys, in order to define a list of integer data type, first we will define the integer, a single integer. Let's say I, it is equal to 10. And then if we want to print this integer, we simply do a println statement, and then value of I is, and then we have the plus operator, and then we have I. Let me just save this file and try running this code. So as we can see, value of I is 10 over here. Now guys, let us say we want the list of numbers. Let's say we want the list of numbers from 1 to 5 to be stored in a variable. So we can use the array. So how we can define the array is, after this data type, we can have the open and close square brackets followed by the name of the variable. So we will give some sensible name to this variable, and over here what I will do is, let's say array of integers is the name that is given to this variable. And then how do we define this? We can quickly assign the variables to this array of integer. So we have the curly braces, open and close curly braces, and then we can have 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So these numbers are separated by commas, as you can see, and this is the way we can provide the list of integer data type to a variable that is of type array. So guys, we will have a semicolon at the end, and let's say if we want to print this array of integers. So guys, if we directly provide the name of the variable, so in this case it is the array of integers. So let me just put the array of integers variable name over here inside this println statement. Let me just save this file and try running this code. So guys, as we can see, we are getting some garbage value. So this is nothing but the address of the first value of the array of integers. So guys, to make it more simple, I have a diagram for you over here. So as we can see, we have the list of integers over here. This is the first element, that is 12, and then we have 4, 5, 2, and then 5. So these are the 5 elements that are stored in the Java arrays. So guys, what is happening is, this is the variable name, that is age over here, and then we have the 0th element, as you can see, inside the square brackets, and then we have 1, and then 2, 3, 4. So these are nothing but these are the indices of the array elements. Now guys, what is happening behind the scene is, these elements are having their separate memory blocks. So all these values are stored in memory, and then the address of the very first element over here, that is 12, is being printed over here, as you can see. So this is the address. So whenever we want to refer to the elements of the array, so just by mentioning the variable name, we won't get the list of elements that are present in the variable. So we have to use these square brackets, as you can see, and inside these square brackets we have to use the position. So let's say we want to print the value 1. So after using this array of integer variable name, we are going to have the open and close square brackets, as you can see, and the array starts from the 0th index. So it starts from 0, which means the index of this value 1 is 0, and then we have 1, 2, 3, and then 4. So these are the indices. So guys, array of integer 0 will return us the value as 1. So let me just save this file and try running this code over here. So as you can see, 1 is getting printed. In the similar way, let's say we want to print the last element, that is value 5. So the index of this value 5 is 4. That's because the indices start from 0. So it is 0, 1, 2, 3, and then 4. So if we provide the value 4 as the index, so let me just save this file and try running this code. So as we can see, 5 is getting printed, and in this way we can easily access the elements of the array by using the variable name, that is array of integers, followed by open and close square bracket, and inside the square bracket we can have the index. Now guys, as we have seen previously, we can also use loops in order to iterate through these elements. So how we can do that? So I'll just remove this line of code over here, and what I will do is I will use the for loop, and for loop, it will go from integer I, it is equal to 0, and then I less than. Now guys, we have to provide some number over here, but we are not sure what is the length of this array. So guys, in order to get the length of the array, we have a property called length. So we can use the name of the variable, that is array of integers over here, and then followed by dot, and then we have something called as length property. So guys, this property will help us in order to get the number of elements that are present inside array, and then we have a semicolon and then I plus plus. Now guys, what is happening over here is I, that is starting from 0, and then it will go until the length of the array of integers. So what is the length of the array of integers? It will be the number of elements that are present over here in the array. And then what we are going to do is we are going to print the elements. So I am going to have system.out.println, and instead of this println, let's say we just want to print, because we want to print all the elements in a single line. And over here what we will do is we will have this array of integers. So array of integers, and then in order to access the elements of these arrays, we are going to have the square brackets, and then inside the square brackets we will have this index. So we will use this I variable that we are iterating, and then followed by a space character. So we have a plus sign, and then followed by double quotes, inside which we have a space character. Let me just save this file and try running this code. So guys, as we can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the elements of the array is getting printed. Now if we have just 3 elements over here, so I'll remove this 4 and 5. Let me just save this file. We need not have to change anything in the for loop, because we are using the array of integers dot length, which will automatically take the length of the array during the runtime. So let me just run this code. So as you can see, 1, 2, 3 is getting printed. And let us say if we have the number of elements as 10 over here. So let me just provide 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then the values 10. So these are 1 to 10, that is the elements of this array of integers. So automatically array of integers dot length will provide the 10 as the length of the array. So let me just save this file and try running this code. So as we can see, 1, 2, 3 and then up to 10 is getting printed. And in this way we can easily use the arrays. This is the array of integers that we have seen. We can also use the arrays of string values as well. So instead of this integer array, we will have the string data type followed by open and close square brackets, and then we will have array of string over here, and then inside these array of a string we can have the list of string as well. So we will provide programming as the one string followed by comma, then we have another string as for, and then comma, and then inside double quotes we have beginners. So programming for beginners, these are the three strings that we have saved in the array of strings over here. And then we have array of string over here, copy it in the for loop I less than array of string dot length. So array of string length will be returned over here, and then in the print statement as well we will have array of string and then I as the iterator that will iterate through every string. So let me just save this file and try running this code. So as we can see, programming for beginners is getting printed. Now let's say if we want to print all these strings in the separate lines, so we can have the print ln statement instead of just print statement over here. That is a print method over here. So let me just save this file and try running this code. So as we can see, this print ln method is making each element of the array of string print in the next line. So programming for beginners, all the strings are getting printed on the new lines over here. And guys, in this way we can easily use the array of integers or array of strings or array of any data types based on your requirements. Java class and objects in Java programming. So guys, Java is an object oriented programming language. So the core concept of the object oriented approach is to break complex problems into smaller objects. So guys, whenever you are going to work on your requirements, it is going to be a very much complex problem that you are trying to solve. So basically you are going to use the Java classes in order to break that complex problem into smaller objects, and then we can solve them easily independently as well. So guys, an object is an entity that has a state and a behavior. For example, a bicycle is an object. So basically it has states such as idle or first gear, etc. So a bicycle, it can either be an idle object or it can be on the first gear as well or any other gear. And then the behavior, it includes whether it is braking or accelerating or any other behavior. So guys, similarly we have other objects as well which are going to have different states and different behaviors as well. Now guys, as we can see over here, we have the class format, and this is the syntax that we use in order to define a class. So basically we use the class keyword followed by the name of the class, in which case the starting character must be capital because that's the best practices that we follow in Java. And then we have different fields and methods inside the class. These fields and methods are enclosed within the curly braces, and guys, we are going to check this syntax with the help of example as well. And then we create the Java objects out of this class. So an object is nothing but it is called the instance of a class. So we can use objects in order to refer to these fields and methods. So guys, all these things we are going to check with the help of examples. So let me just move to the code now. So as we can see, we already have a class, that is Java test class over here, and then we have a method inside this, that is public static void main. So guys, inside this method we are going to access another class that we are going to create now. So guys, outside this class, that is Java test class, we are going to create another class. So we will use the keyword that is class over here followed by the name of the class. So guys, we can give the name of the class as animal because that is a class that we are going to create, and then after the name of the class we will have the open and close curly braces inside which we will have the list of fields and the methods that we have seen in the class syntax. So guys, inside this, let us say we have one of the fields as the name of the animal. So the name of the animal should be of data type string. So we will have the data type that is string over here followed by the variable name that is name. And then guys, let us say we have a method in order to print this name of the animal. So what we can do is, similar to how we have the void main over here, we can have the void return type and then the name of the method that is display name. And then it will not take any parameters. So we will keep the parameters over here as blank, and then followed by open and close curly braces, and inside this we are just going to print the name of the animal. So this is a print statement followed by the name of the animal. So I'll just provide the string as name of animal is, and then followed by plus operator and then this name variable name. So the same variable name we are going to use in the print statement over here. So guys, this is the content of this class, that is animal, that we have created. So to summarize, we have the class keyword followed by the name of the class, and then inside this class we have different fields and different methods. So for now we are just going to have one field, that is the name of the animal, and then we are going to have one method which is going to print the name of that animal. Now guys, in order to access these fields and methods, we have to use the objects of this class. Now how do we create the object of this class? So we have to use this class name. So I'll just copy this, and inside this main method we are going to create an instance of this class, and that is what we have defined over here, that is Java objects. The object is also called an instance of a class. So we are going to create the Java object over here. So we paste the name of the class that we have created followed by a space character, and just like how we create other variable names using string data type or the integer data type, we are creating another variable over here of the animal data type, which is a class. So over here what we are going to do is we are going to create the object with the variable name as animal1, and then guys followed by we have to use the equal to operator and followed by the new keyword. So guys, this is important. This is the way in which we create the object of a particular class. After the new object, we have the class name that is to be used. So the class name, I have just pasted it over here, followed by open and close brackets and then semicolon. So guys, this is the syntax in which we create the object, that is animal1 object is created over here of the class animal, and we use the new operator followed by the class name. And then guys, in order to access the name of this class, we are going to use the variable name, that is this animal. So I'll just copy this and paste this over here, animal1 variable name followed by a dot. So guys, this is very important. In order to access any of the content of the class animal, we have to use the dot operator. So after this dot operator, if we do control space, you can see the name field is getting suggested over here, and then the display name is also getting suggested over here. So we are going to use the name field, and then we are just going to set the name of the animal. So let's say one of the animals is dog. I'll just provide the name of the animal as dog and then followed by a semicolon. So the name field of this animal1 object is set as dog, and in order to access the name, we can use the display name method over here. So I'll just copy this and use this object again, that is animal1 dot display name. So the second option we have display name. So when the control flow comes over here, animal1 dot display name, so this method, that is display name, will be called and this print statement will get executed. So guys, let me just save this file and try running this code. So I'll just save this file. So as we can see, name of animal is dog. So in this way we can easily create the class and then followed by the contents of the class, that is some fields and then some of the methods, and use those content of the class using the variable names of the class. Guys, similarly, instead of this dog animal, we can use the cat animal as well. So whenever I provide the name as cat, and then I'll just save this file and try running this code. So as we can see, name of animal is cat. So this time the name was set as cat for this variable, that is animal1, and the same thing got printed over here. Guys, in similar way we can have multiple animal objects over here. So let me just copy this code. I'll just copy this and paste this over here. Instead of this animal1, we are going to have animal2, or else it will be a duplicate name that we are using, and the same object I'm just going to print it over here. So animal2 dot name, instead of cat over here I will provide something else. So let us say we have the name of the animal as tiger. So the second animal, that is animal2, the name is tiger, and then animal2 dot display name will display the name string for this object, that is animal2. So let me just save this file and try running this code. So as we can see, name of animal is cat, so that is because the animal1 dot display name was called, and then we have name of animal is tiger, that is because animal2 dot display name was called. And guys, in this way we can easily use the classes in order to define our own set of fields and our own set of methods as well, and use those methods and fields in order to accomplish our task. So guys, that's it in this video. Hopefully you have got enough knowledge about the Java classes and objects. Please make sure that you practice on your own so that on different inputs you can get different outputs and you can learn accordingly. Methods or functions in Java programming. So a method is nothing but it is a block of code that performs a specific task. So guys, suppose you need to create a program to create a circle and color it. So you can create two methods. That is, in order to solve this problem, you can have a method to draw the circle and another method to color the circle. Now after creating both these methods, you can call these methods multiple times. So let's say we want to create a circle with a radius 5 cm. So you can call this method with the radius as 5 cm and a new circle will be drawn for you. And in order to color the same circle, you can call this method and provide the parameter that is green. So this method will be called and the same circle will be colored as green. Now next time you want to create another circle, so this first method will be called again and you need not have to repeat the same lines of code that is used in order to create a circle. So guys, that is the magic of functions or methods in Java programming. So guys, let us understand this with the help of examples as well. Now dividing a complex problem into smaller chunks makes your program easy to understand and reusable. So guys, two important things over here: easy to understand and reusable. So guys, functions make your code easy to understand and help anyone else in order to understand what exactly you have written in your Java programming. And another importance is the reusability factor. So guys, you can use the same methods again and again to do the repetitive task. Now as far as the syntax of the Java method is concerned, as you can see, declaring a Java method over here, first of all, you can have a modifier and then we have the static keyword. So guys, these are optional things, but the most important thing is the return type. So we have seen previously, if the method doesn't return anything, we can provide void over here as the return type, or it can be any other data type such as integer or a string value or a double value as well, followed by the name of the method, and inside the open and close brackets we have parameters. So this is also not mandatory. It can also be blank, or it can have one parameter, or it can have two parameters, or any number of parameters, or you can also pass the array of elements as well. And then inside that we have the method body. So guys, let us understand all this with the help of examples over here. So on this Eclipse, I'll just clear the previous code over here. So guys, we will create a function in order to add two numbers. So over here, what we will do is, let's say we have void and then followed by add numbers as the method name. So guys, add numbers we have, and then inside the brackets we will have two numbers that will be passed from the main method from where the function will be called. So guys, over here we will have int a, and then we will have another integer, that is int b. So guys, these are the two parameters and these are the two numbers that we will be expecting whenever this method is called. And then inside this we will have the curly braces, and then followed by, let's say we have another integer, that is sum, and this will add these two numbers, that is a plus b. So this is a very simple functionality, guys. We are going to have the void as the return type. This means that this function is not going to return anything, and then it is going to take parameters, that is two parameters, integer a and integer b. And what it will do is, it will create the integer, that is sum, and assign it a value that will be the sum of these two numbers, a plus b. And then what we will do is, we will just print this number, that is println statement we will use, and then sum of numbers is, and then plus operator followed by the name of the variable, that is sum, in which the sum will be stored. So guys, this is the way in which we declare a function and also define the function. So we have already defined a function over here that will add two numbers and print the sum of those two numbers. Now guys, the only thing that is remaining is to call this function. So from main method we are going to call this function. So I'll just copy this add number over here and paste this over here, and inside this we are going to pass two numbers since it is expecting two numbers over here. So guys, let's say the first number I provide is 2 and then followed by comma, and then I'll provide another number, that is 3, and then we'll have semicolon over here. So guys, as we can see, we are getting a red underline over here. So it says cannot make a static reference to a non-static method add number. So guys, why we are getting this error over here? That's because we are trying to call a method from a main method which is static. So whenever we are calling any method from a static method over here, in which case we are calling from a static main method, so the method that we are calling must also be static over here, and that is what is being suggested over here. Change add number to static. So I'll just click over here. So as you can see, static keyword is being provided over here as the prefix, and then the rest of the things are same. So guys, let me just save this file and try running this code to see what happens. So as we can see, sum of numbers is 5. That's because 2 and 3 we had passed to this method, and inside this method both the numbers were added and the value was stored in this sum, and the same value was printed over here using the println statement. So guys, let me show you another example. Let's say instead of these two numbers we have 10, 20 as the two numbers. I'll just save this file and try running this code. So the sum of 10 and 20 is expected, and as you can see, sum of numbers is 30. And in this way we can easily use the method in order to execute some lines of codes, in order to do some number manipulations or print some statements. Now guys, let us say you want to add more numbers apart from these numbers, that is 10 and 20. You want to print another addition of two numbers. So what I can do is I'll just copy this line of code, that is the function that is being called, and paste this over here, and then the other two numbers we will provide in these parentheses. So let's say we have 5 over here and 6 over here. So I'll just save this file and try running this code. So as we can see, sum of number is 30. That's because 10 and 20 were passed for the very first time, and then again the second time the same method was called with other two numbers, that is 5 and 6. So the sum of numbers is 11. So again the second time the method was called and the println statement got executed with the sum of 5 and 6 values. So guys, this is the importance of methods and functions. You can reuse them any number of times whenever you want. Guys, let me show you another example. Let's say instead of printing this sum of numbers in this add number over here, what we will do is whatever the addition of number is, that is whatever the value of sum is, we are going to pass it back to the main. So in order to do that, we are going to remove this void keyword over here, since we are going to return something. So guys, whenever we are going to return anything from a method, we are going to provide the data type of that value. So integer is the data type, and what I will do is I will just remove this line of code and I will provide the return keyword followed by the variable name, that is sum. So this sum is having the addition of these two numbers, and then the same value I am just returning using this return keyword back again to the function from where this function was called. Now guys, in order to receive this sum, we have to assign some value over here. So I'll just remove the second line of code, and this add number we will keep it as it is, and we are going to declare another variable over here, that is sum1 over here, as you can see, or instead of sum1 we can have total. So let's say int total and then add number, which means this function will be called with these two numbers, and then the sum of these numbers will get stored in this sum variable, and the same variable will be returned over here and will be assigned to this variable, that is total. Now guys, we can use this total in order to print the total of these two numbers. So let me just provide the print statement over here. So what we will do is total of numbers, so we will provide this string is and then plus operator followed by total variable name. So guys, what we are doing is instead of printing the number inside this add number method, we are just returning the value and printing in the main method from where the method was called, that is the add number method was called. So let me just save this file and try running this code. So as we can see, total of numbers is 30. So it is going to have the same functionality, but in this case, instead of having the void return type, we are going to have the int return type. Similarly, we can have the other return types such as string or double values as well. So guys, it completely depends on your requirements, what kind of requirements you are having, and accordingly you can create different methods that you want based on the requirements as far as reusability and understandability of the code is concerned. Method overloading in Java programming. So guys, in Java, two or more methods can have the same name if they differ in parameters, different number of parameters they can have, or different types of parameters, or they can have both, that is different parameters and different types of parameters, then we call it as method overloading. So guys, it can so happen that you are having a function name and the same name is used in the multiple other functions as well, but the only difference between those functions are the parameters that they are taking. So as you can see in this example, all the four functions are having the same function name, whereas the parameters, the very first function is not having any parameter, the second function is having an integer parameter, the third function is having the double parameter, and the fourth function is having two parameters, that is one is integer and another one is float. So guys, in this scenario we can say that method overloading is taking place. And how do we call the provided function? Let's say we want to call this function with an integer data type. So how do we call this? So guys, whenever we are calling the function, we have to provide the appropriate parameter in order for the control statement to go to the exact function that is intended. So guys, we will see all this with the help of examples, but to make it more clear, all it depends on the parameter and the type of parameter that we are providing while calling the function, and accordingly the control statement will match with the required function name and will execute the code in that function name. So over here I have provided some more details. Why method overloading? So guys, suppose you have to perform the addition of given numbers, but there can be any number of arguments. So let's say either 2 or 3 arguments for simplicity. So in order to accomplish the task, you can create two methods, that is sum to num, that means it is going to take two numbers, or else you can also create sum 3 num, which is going to take 3 integers, and then it depends on your function calling whether you are calling the function with the 2 parameters or calling the function with the 3 parameters. So guys, over here function overloading is not occurring since the function name is different. So I'll just copy this and paste this over here. So in this case, as you can see, sum to num and sum to num, these are the same function names, whereas the parameters that it is taking, over here there are 2 parameters, whereas over here there are 3 parameters, and accordingly the required function will be called. So guys, let us understand this with the help of example. So guys, we will take the addition of numbers example over here. So let's say we create a function. So we create static and then we have void and then function name, that is add numbers, and then let's say we have only 2 numbers, that is int a comma int b. So over here we are providing 2 numbers, and what we will do is we will print the sum of these 2 numbers. So I will provide the print statement over here. So inside the print statement we have sum is, and then what we will do is we will add these numbers over here, so a plus b. So guys, it is very important to note that over here we are not adding these numbers and storing the value in a particular variable, but we can also add the numbers in the print statement itself. So this mathematics over here, as you can see, a plus b will return the sum of these numbers, and this sum of number, that is the value, will be printed along with this string over here. And the similar way we are going to have the same function name but with 3 different parameters. So let's say we have the add numbers. So as we can see, there is a red line over here. So this is a compiler error. So Eclipse is telling us that there is some error over here. So duplicate method add numbers int in type Java test class. So rename method is one of the solution, but we don't want to rename it since we are going to see the example of method overloading, in which case the function names are same whereas the parameters are different. So what I'm going to do is in the second function I'm going to add another parameter, that is int c, and then in this println statement I will do a plus b plus c. So that means the third integer is also taken into consideration, and then the sum will get printed. So guys, let us call these methods over here from the main method. So I'll just provide add numbers over here, and then let's say we have 2 numbers, that is 10 and then 20. So we have provided 10 and 20 over here, and then we have the semicolon. So let me save this file and try running this code. So as we can see, sum is 30, that means 10 and 20 was added. So over here what happened is this function, that is add numbers, got called, and these 2 numbers were assigned to these variables, that is int a equal to 10 and int b it is equal to 20, and both the numbers were added and sum is a plus b, that is 30. Now guys, let us say we want to add 3 numbers. So I'll just provide comma the third number, let's say 30 over here, and then let me just save this file and try running this code. So as we can see, sum is 30. That's because 3 parameters and this particular function name is matching with this function, that is having the 3 parameters a, b and c, and that is how we are adding these numbers, that is a, b and c. And in this way guys, we can easily use method overloading in order to have similar kind of operations but with different number of parameters and different types of parameters. Guys, to make it more easy for you, sum of, I'll just provide 2 numbers over here, and over here I'll provide 3 numbers, so that we exactly come to know that which function is being called. So when this function is getting called, we will get the print statement as sum. Over here I'll just change this to off. Okay, sum of 2 numbers, and over here as well I'll just change this to off. So sum of 3 numbers. I'll just save this file and try running this code. So as we can see, sum of 3 numbers is 60 we are getting, and whereas when we are having 2 numbers, I'll just remove this and just provide 2 parameters. Let me run this code. So as we can see, sum of 2 numbers, that is 30, is getting printed. Now guys, let us say I'll just remove this second parameter over here and we are just providing one parameter. So as we can see, we are getting a red line over here, that is an underline. So when we hover over it, it says the method add number int in the type Java test class is not applicable for the arguments int. So basically the program is expecting either 2 parameters or 3 parameters, but the method that is being called over here is called with 1 parameter, and in this case it is the compile error. So if we try saving this and running this code, it will still give us the compile error stating that errors exist in required project, proceed with launch. Even if we proceed, then it will give us the runtime error, that is unresolved compilation problem, add numbers in the type. So the same error is being displayed over here. So guys, in this way we can easily use the method overloading. We have to check that how many parameters are present in the method that we are calling, and also the type of parameters that we are passing is also important. So guys, let me show you another example with 3 parameters. So we'll provide 1, 2 and then 3. Let me save this file and try running this code. So as we can see, sum of 3 numbers, that means this particular method is getting executed. So sum of 3 numbers and the sum will get printed, that is 6. So 3 plus 2 plus 1 is 6. And in this way we can easily use the method overloading feature of the Java programming. So guys, that's it in this video. Please make sure that you practice on your own so that on different inputs you'll get different outputs, and that is the way you should learn Java programming. Class inheritance in Java programming. And guys, we are going to use the extends keyword in order to see the class inheritance in Java. So inheritance is one of the key features of object-oriented programming that allows us to create a new class from an existing class. So guys, this is very important over here. The inheritance, it allows us to create a new class from an existing class. So for example, we are having the existing class of our own. We want to create a new class, and while creating that new class, we want all the fields and methods to be present in this new class as well. So we can create the new class followed by the extends keyword and then followed by the existing class name. So guys, we will check this with the help of examples. Now the new class that is created is known as a subclass or a child class or a derived class, and the existing class from where we are extending the new class is called the super class or the parent class. So guys, we are having the parent and child relationship over here. The existing class will be a parent class and the new class that we will be creating is the child class. We also call it as a subclass over here. Now guys, the extends keyword is used to perform inheritance in Java. So for example, as we can see over here, we have the main class that is animal. So this can be treated as a parent class. It is having its own fields and methods over here. Now in order to extend this class, what we do is we create a new class, that is with the class keyword. We create a dog, which is one of the animal types, and then followed by extends keyword and then the name of the parent class, that is animal, and then inside the curly braces we will have its own methods and fields. So as we can see over here, whatever methods and fields that were present in the animal will also be present in the dog class, whereas the dog class will also have its own methods and fields. So guys, let us understand all this with the help of examples over here. So we have the class keyword followed by the name of the class. So let's say we are using the animal class as the parent class. Now let's say we have the name of the animal, so string name, it is equal to, okay, so let's say we just have the name variable over here, we are not assigning any value to it, and let's say we have the method as display name. So guys, over here it will just display the name of the animal. So what we will do is we will just have a simple print statement over here. So I will print this is animal. So guys, this is a very simple method over here, that is display name. It is just going to print a string, that is this is animal over here. Now guys, in order to inherit these properties in a different class, so let's say we have another class such as dog. So we create the class using the class keyword followed by the name of the new class, that is dog, and then what we do is, since we want these attributes, that is the string name we want, and we also want this method, that is display name, to be present in the dog class as well. So what we will do over here is we will use the extends keyword. So as we can see, we are using the extends keyword followed by the name of the parent class, that is animal. So I'll just copy this and paste this over here, and then inside the curly braces it is going to have its own set of fields and methods as well, and apart from that it is also going to have these method and strings over here. So even if we do not provide any method or string over here, still we can use this display name inside the dog class. So guys, we are going to check this with the help of example now. So what I'm going to do is, instead of creating the object of this class animal, we will create the object of this class, that is dog. So in the main method, what we will do is, we will use the dog class name followed by, let's say we have dog object, and then followed by equal to operator, and then we have new dog. And then guys, what we can do is, if we want to use this display name, that is if we want to print this statement over here, we can use the dog object as well. Why? Because we are extending, that is using this extends keyword in order to inherit the properties of the parent class. So what I'm going to do is, we are going to have dog object. So after dog object, we have the dot operator followed by, so as you can see, it is showing the name attribute as well as the display name method over here. So I'm going to select the display name, and then let us save this file and try running this code. So guys, as we can see, this is animal is getting printed. That's because we are extending the animal class in the child class, that is the dog class. Now guys, what if we don't extend this? So I'll just remove this part. So over here we are not extending the dog class with the animal class, and both of these classes are independent of each other. That is, there is no relation between them right now because there is no inheritance as such. So as you can see, there is an error message over here saying that the method display name is undefined for the type dog. So guys, because we are not extending anything over here in the dog class, and we are not having any method of its own as well, so we cannot call a method of the dog object. So in order to use the display name of the animal, we have to use the extends keyword followed by the name of the parent class. And then if you see over here, the error is gone now, and in this way we can easily use the inheritance property. Guys, let us try setting the name variable and then using that name variable inside this method over here. So what I'm going to do is, I'll just change this string to name of animal is, and then followed by name. So guys, what we will do over here, using the dog object, we can also refer to the name variable. So the name string that we have inside the animal class, we can refer to that name. So I'll use this name, and then let's say we have the name of the dog as puppy. So guys, over here we are trying to set the name variable, and then using the dog object dot display name, we are going to print this statement along with the name variable. So I'll just save this file and try running this code. So as we can see, name of animal is puppy. So we are assigning the name as well as we are accessing the name using the display name method. Guys, very important thing over here is, we have not defined any attribute or any variable over here or any methods or functions over here inside the dog class, but still we are able to create the object of this dog class. As you can see, this is the dog object of this dog class, and use this name and display name of the parent class, since we are using this extends keyword and extending this parent class. So guys, this is one of the most important property in Java, that is class inheritance, which you can use based on your requirements. Guys, it is also important that you practice on your own so that you get different outputs based on your different inputs, and see how you can use this class inheritance with your requirements. Java try catch finally blocks for exception handling with some more examples. So guys, previously we had already seen how try catch block works, but in this video we are going to check more examples with more combinations of the catch and finally blocks as well. So guys, the try catch block in Java is used in order to handle the exceptions and prevent the abnormal termination of the program. So it is very important to handle the abnormal termination of the program that might occur and continue the control flow of the Java programs. Now guys, let us check all these with the help of examples now. The first example that we are going to take is a try catch example. So let me just move to the Eclipse IDE, and over here we are going to have the try catch block. So inside this try block, we are going to have an integer, that is number. Now let's say we are going to have a number that is 5, which is getting divided by 0 over here, and then we want to print the value of this number, that is 5. So we have value of number is, and then followed by the number variable over here. Now guys, after this try block, we can have the catch block as well, and we can have the super class, that is exception class over here, handling the exception, followed by the name of the object, that is E, and then we will have the print statement, and then we can have E dot get message over here, that is going to print the error message. So guys, let me just save this file and try running this code now. So as you can see, divide by 0 is getting printed, and in this way we can easily handle the exception that is occurring using the try catch block. Now guys, to summarize over here, we are having the integer number, that is 5 divided by 0 expression, and divided by 0 expression is an arithmetic exception over here. So over here what is happening is, instead of going to the next line, the exception has occurred over here. So Java throws the exception in the catch block over here, and inside this catch block the exception will be caught inside this E object, and using this E object we can get the message. Now guys, similarly, let's say we have an array. So over here, let's say we have the integer array. The variable name is ARR, and then followed by new, and then int. So over here we are just initializing the array with 10 elements over here. Now guys, let's say we refer to the 10th element over here. As you must be knowing that the indices of the array will go from 0 to 9 for this array, but we refer to the 10th element. So what we will do is, over here I'll just change the string to 10 element is, and then followed by, over here let's say we have array 10. So this should throw an exception. That's because the size of the array goes from 0 to 9, and there is no such element on the 10th index. So I'll just save this file and try running this code now. So as you can see, index 10 out of bounds for length 10. So guys, this is going out of bounds, and the same message is getting printed over here. And this message is printed, that's because we are using the super class, that is exception. We can also specify the array out of bounds exception class as well, which is a subclass of this super class, that is exception. Now what if we try to access the 9th element? Guys, important thing over here is the exception has occurred on this statement, and after the exception has occurred, the control flow goes over here. And let me just change this to 9 now. So array 9. Let me just save this file and try running this code. So as you can see, 10th element is 0 is getting printed. That's because array goes from 0 to 9, and we are providing the valid index over here, and hence the catch block is not getting executed. So important things to note over here, whenever there is an exception that is occurring in the try block, the Java control flow will go to the catch block and execute those lines of codes. And if there is no exception that is occurring in the try block, so the code in the catch block will not get executed. So guys, let us move to another example. Try finally example. So over here, instead of having this catch block, I'll just remove this catch block, and we will have finally over here. And guys, inside this finally, I will just have the statement, that is we are in finally block. So guys, as I have told you previously, finally block will get executed every time, irrespective whether there is an exception or not over here. So I'll just save this file and try running this code now. So as you can see, 10th element is 0. So these lines are getting printed over here inside the try block, but finally is also getting executed, and we are having the string we are in finally block over here, that is present in the finally block of our code. So guys, very important point to note, finally block will get executed every time, irrespective whether there is an exception or not. So over here there was no such exception, but let's say if there is an exception over here, so let's say I'll just provide array 10 over here, so that there will be an exception in this line of code. I'll just save this file and try running this code now. But since we are not providing the catch block, as you can see, we are having array index out of bounds exception over here. We are in finally block is also getting printed. So what is happening over here is the exception is occurring over here, but before printing that exception, the finally block is getting printed over here, and then we are getting the exception over here. What if we catch the exception appropriately? So over here in the third example, as you can see, we are having the try, catch and finally example. So this is the example that we are seeing right now. We will have the catch block followed by the exception class name, and then we have the variable that is E, and then let's say we print the statement E dot get message over here. so that it prints the exception. Now let me just save this file and try running this code now. So as you can see, index 10 out of bounds for length 10. So very first thing, exception has occurred in this line of code. So once an exception has occurred, it has found the corresponding catch block over here. So that message is getting printed, and after that the finally is also getting executed over here. So guys, irrespective whether there is an exception that has occurred or not in the try block, the finally block will always get executed. Now let us move to another example. Multiple catch blocks example. So guys, let us say we have array index out of bound over here. So we have array index out of bound. We are going to specify this class name over here, that is array index out of bound, and we have e.getMessage. And let's say we have another exception that is occurring. So we are having the array element that is referred by the 9th index over here. So this is going to refer to the last element of the array, and what we will do is we will just provide 10 divided by 0 expression over here. So whatever result is there, it will get stored in this 9th index of the array. But guys, since the expression is 10 divided by 0, this should throw an arithmetic exception over here. In order to catch that, we are just catching the array index out of bound over here right now, but we are not having arithmetic exception. So what we will do is, the very first thing, let me just save this file and try running this code now over here. As you can see, index 10 out of bounds for length 10 is getting printed. That's because we are handling this array index out of bound. But what if this exception doesn't occur? So I'll just change this element to 9th index over here. So array 9 will not throw the array index out of bound, and this will also not throw the array index out of bound. But over here we are having this arithmetic exception over here. That's because we are having the expression as 10 divided by 0. Let me just save this file and try running this code now. So as you can see, 10th element is 0 is getting printed. That is, this line of code is getting printed. After that, we have an exception. But before printing anything related to exception, the control flow is going to finally block, and it is printing we are in finally. And then after that, we are having this arithmetic exception over here. Now guys, we can have another catch block in order to handle this arithmetic exception. So in order to have another catch block over here, after this first catch block, we can have the second catch block over here, that is catch, and then we can have arithmetic exception. So we have arithmetic exception over here followed by e, and then we can have e.getMessage getting printed. So I'll just copy this line of code and paste this over here. And guys, let me just save this file and try running this code now. So as you can see, 10th element is 0, that is, this string is getting printed, followed by there will be an arithmetic exception over here. So it goes in this catch block, that is arithmetic exception. So it prints divide by 0 over here. And then guys, we are having the we are in finally block over here. So we are in finally is getting printed. So guys, in this way we can have the multiple catch statements over here. So as you can see, multiple catch blocks example is also covered over here. Now the last example, that is catching multiple exceptions example. So guys, we can also have just one catch block and have multiple exceptions inside that. So what we will do over here is, I'll just remove this catch statement over here, and then we will have, after this array index out of bound, we will have the OR condition, and after this OR condition we have arithmetic exception over here. So arithmetic exception followed by E1 object. Now guys, there is an error over here, it says syntax error. So basically we have to remove this object from here, and we are just going to have E1 object, and over here we will have E1.getMessage. So guys, basically whether it is array index out of bound or arithmetic exception, both the exceptions will get caught over here and the message will get printed accordingly. Let me just save this file and try running this code now. So as you can see, 10th element is 0, divide by 0 is occurring over here. That's because we are dividing it by 0. Now let's say I remove this line of code, and over here we have the 10th index over here. I'll just save this file and try running this code now. So as you can see, index 10 out of bounds is getting printed. So guys, only one catch block was used over here, whereas multiple exceptions are being handled over here. So guys, in this way you can easily use the try, catch and finally block in order to handle your exceptions based on your requirements. Java Arraylist versus array with the help of examples. So guys, in Java we use Arraylist class in order to implement the functionality of a resizable arrays. So guys, if you remember, we have the array wherein whenever we initialize a particular array, we have to provide the size of the array, but this is not the case in the array list as we have seen previously as well. So for array, as you can see, we need to declare the size of an array before we can use it. Once a size of an array is declared, it's hard to change it. So guys, basically whenever the program is getting compiled initially, a particular size of the array gets reserved in the memory, and that memory can be used in order to execute our lines of code. But in the array list, the memory is getting allocated at the runtime, so we need not have to have the size of the array list being provided during the initialization. So guys, what are the examples that we are going to see? First of all, we are going to see add elements to an array list, then we will see access array list elements, and then we will also see remove array list elements, which will be the third example over here. So guys, let me just move to this Eclipse IDE. So over here what we will do is, first of all we will understand what is an array. So over here we are defining an int array, so we can have int array over here, and then we define it in this way, that is int array, and then it is going to have 10 elements. So as you can see, this is the array of integers, and using the for loop we can just print the content of this array. So over here I am going from int I, it is equal to 0, I less than array. So we have array over here. So array dot, we will use the length property in order to get the length of the array, and then we will have I plus plus. And then guys, what we will do over here is, we are simply going to print all the elements using array and then I, and then we are going to have space character. So guys, let me just save this file and try running this code now. So as you can see, all the elements are 0 over here. What I will do is, I will just provide the print method instead of println, so that on console we can see all the elements on one line. So as you can see, all the elements are 0. That's because all the elements were set as 0 over here by default. So basically guys, we are providing the size of the array over here, and that is one of the main disadvantages of using the array. Now guys, when we are using the array list, so we need not have to provide the size of the array list. So let's say the same number of elements we want to add in the array list. So we can use the array list class over here, and it can be of the data type int. So we can have the int, and then let's say we have my list as the object name, equal to new array list. So similar to how we initialize a particular class object, we initialize this array list as well. So it is showing a red underline over here. So instead of having this int, can we have the integer class over here? So I'll just provide the integer class. So we have integer. So guys, instead of int, we are supposed to have integer class being provided in this open and close angled brackets. And then guys, we can add our elements over here by using the add method. So we have my list dot add. We want to add the integer. So let's say we have 1, and then followed by, let's say we add more elements. So we add 2 and 3 over here. I'll just change this to 2 and 3, and then in order to print this, we can have the print statement, and then we can simply have list content is, and then we have my list being printed over here. So let me just save this file and try running this code now. So the entire content is being printed on one line. So the very first thing, that is, this is the array. So I'll just provide a new line print statement over here. So we can have println, which will not take anything. Let me just save this file and try running this code now, so that the output comes on different lines. So as you can see, this is the array content, and the list content is this, that is 1, 2, 3 is being printed over here. So guys, in this way we can add the elements inside the array list. So this is the first example, that is add elements. Now how do we access the array list elements? We already accessed using the my list, but let's say we want to print this elements one by one, separated by a space character over here, similar to how we did for this array example. So guys, what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to remove this print statement, and I'm going to have the for loop over here, and we are going to use the enhanced for loop. So we can have integer I over here. It is taking what? It is taking my list. So guys, we can use the enhanced for loop over here in this way, and we can print this. We are going to have the print statement instead of println, and over here what we will do is, we are going to use this I variable, which is going to iterate through this my list elements. So over here I'm going to print I followed by a space character, and then after the loop we can have the new line character over here. So I'll just copy this and paste this new line character. So guys, what this will do is, it will iterate through all the elements of the my list, and it will print one at a time all the numbers. I'll just save this file and try running this code now. So as you can see, 1, 2, 3 is getting printed. That's because we have only added 3 elements over here. Now guys, let us say another example, how to remove the array list elements. So we can easily remove the array list elements. So what I will do is, after this statement, we have my list over here, and we can have the dot remove method. So as you can see, remove, it takes an index as the parameter. So we are going to use that, and let's say I provide the index as 1, which is going to refer to the second element. That is, since it is 0th base index, 0 index will be this content, that is 1, and first index will be this content, that is 2. And then let's say I want to print the entire list, so we can have println statement over here, and I'll just provide list content is, and then we have my list over here. So we are printing the entire list. Let me just save this file and try running this code now. So 1, 2, 3 was getting printed, but we removed the first element, that is the element at the first index. So the element at the first index is 2. So what is remaining? 1 and 3. So as you can see, 1 and 3 is getting printed now after the remove statement. And guys, in this way you can easily add the elements or remove the elements from the list as well. And the code looks pretty much readable. So as you can see, we are using some sensible method names over here. But in the array, we were just using the open and close square brackets, and we were trying to access the elements. Every time whenever we initialize, the memory has to be fixed to this particular size that we provide during the initialization. So guys, it depends on your requirements whether you want to use the array or you want to use some array list, so that it becomes easy to understand the code for you as well as for your colleagues. So that's it in this video. Please make sure that you practice on your own so that you get more knowledge about more methods of the array list. Java buffered reader class with the help of examples, and we are going to see file handling example in this case. So guys, buffered reader class is one of the subclasses of the reader superclass that we have seen previously. Now the buffered reader class of the Java IO package can be used with other readers to read data in terms of characters. So guys, we had already seen buffered input stream, in which we were reading the data in terms of bytes over there, but in buffered reader we can read the data in terms of characters more efficiently. Guys, this is very important because this is one of the most efficient class that you can use in order to read data from console or else the external file as well. So let us check the working of the buffered reader now. The buffered reader maintains an internal buffer of 8192 characters. So basically it has an internal buffer of 8192 bytes. Now during the read operation in the buffered reader, a chunk of characters is read from the disk and stored in the internal buffer. So guys, this is the main functionality of the buffered reader, due to which it is more efficient than other readers. Basically a chunk of characters is read from the disk and stored in the internal buffer, and from the internal buffer characters are read individually. So this is why the number of communication to the disk is reduced, and this is the secret that buffered reader is more efficient. The number of communication to the disk is reduced when we are using the buffered reader. So this is why reading characters is faster using buffered reader. So guys, let us check this with the help of examples over here. So in Eclipse IDE, we can directly use the buffered reader class over here. So when we type buffered reader, as you can see, buffered reader is getting suggested in the Eclipse IDE, and over here I will say BR as the object name for this buffered reader, followed by equal to, and then we have new operator, and then we have buffered reader class over here as the constructor. And for the constructor part, we are going to create a file reader object. So we can directly put a new file reader over here. Guys, this is because we cannot provide the file name over here directly by using the directory path. So we have to use one of the classes from the reader class. So it is file reader that we are using over here. Now guys, as you can see, file reader over here, we have the third constructor which takes the file name as the parameter. So we are going to provide the file name inside this file reader class. So inside the double quotes, again I will go to my directory, and over here I have 3 files. So the first file is Java tutorial, which is having the content of the tutorial for the Java programming language. Over here we have the output file which we had created in the previous video while using the writer class, and over here we have something called as test file. So guys, the content of the test file is something like this. We have this is a test line in a test file, and this is another test line. So this is what we are going to read by using the BufferedReader class object. Now guys, one change I will do over here is I will get this second statement on the second line of this notepad file, and then we will have a full stop over here. Let me just save this file. Now guys, I'll close this file and I'll copy this directory path over here. So let me just copy this and I'll paste this inside the file reader parameter. So I have pasted this over here, and then we have the name of the file, that is testfile.txt. So guys, this is the name, that is test file, and that is the same name that I have given over here in the path. Now guys, we are getting a red underline over here. That's because we have to handle the exception over here. So it says add throws declaration as the first option. So I have provided the throws declaration over here. Now guys, the important thing, how do we read the file now? How do we read the content of the file? So by using this object. So let me just use this object over here followed by dot, and then we have multiple methods over here, as you can see. Now one of the most important method which was not present in the previous reader classes is this readLine method, which will help us in order to read a particular string within the file. So guys, basically this will read one line at a time. So let me just put this read line over here, but this will return a string. So we need to have a string variable as well, which will take that data by using this readLine method. So what I will do is I will provide a string over here. We will say string data, it is equal to br.readLine. Now guys, we are getting a red underline. That's because we have to handle the exception. So I'll simply select the first option, that is add throws declaration over here. So we have the throws IO exception. Now guys, as you can see, there are no more errors. br.readLine, it will read the first line over here. So if I open this file once again, this first line will be read into the data string that we have defined over here. As you can see, string data, it is equal to br.readLine. Now guys, let us print this data now. So how do we print this? We will simply provide the print statement. So we have print ln, and we'll say the first line followed by colon, and then I will say data over here. And so guys, in this way, using these 3 lines of code, you can easily read any data from any particular file that you want to read based on your requirements. So guys, let me just save this file and try running this code now. So as you can see, it says the first line, that is this is test line in a test file. So basically this read line, it is just reading one line at a time. So if you have the requirement of just reading one line, you can use the BufferedReader, which is one of the most efficient readers in order to read the file and read the first line from the file. But guys, what if I want to read the entire content, that is the second line as well, and the actual scenario will be reading all the lines from the file? So guys, basically it is very rare that you will have only 2 lines over here in a particular file. You can have thousands of lines as well. So how we can read all those thousands of lines in a file? So basically what we have to do is we have to provide this particular line of code in a while loop. So I will simply modify this code now. Over here I'll just provide the command, and then what I will do is, let's say I want to first declare the string that is data, and then it is not containing anything, so it is a blank string over here. Now guys, we have to use the while loop. Now why do we use the while loop? Because continuously we have to read the lines by using the br.readLine method. So over here inside this while loop, what we will do is we will say br.readLine method. So we are using the readLine method over here, and we can check whether it is not equal to null. So when we provide not equal to null, it will check whether the next line that is read, is it containing some data or not. And if it is containing some data, it will go inside the loop, and if it is null, which means there is no more data in the file, then it will come out of the loop. Now guys, what we will do is over here inside the while loop, I will say data, it is equal to br.readLine over here, and then we can have this print statement over here. So I'll just cut this line of code from here, and I'll provide inside the while loop over here. Now guys, what I will do is I will just remove this content, that is the first line, because we are going to read the entire content of the file. And now let me just save this file and try running this code now. So as you can see, this is another test line. Now guys, this is the second line that is coming over here. What happened to the first line? That is, this is a test line in a test file that is not being printed over here. That's because guys, we have already wasted one readLine method over here in order to check whether the content is null or not. So basically we did not print that, and the next time that the control flow checks this, that is br.readLine, the control flow in the file already went to the next line by reading the first file in the first instance of the read line. So what we have to do is, inside this condition only we have to provide data, it is equal to br.readLine, and then this part, that is data, it is equal to br.readLine, we have to enclose within the brackets. So over here I'll open and close the brackets. So what is happening over here is, first the control flow is coming over here, data, it is equal to br.readLine. So it is going to read the first line and it will assign it to the data, and then the control flow will check whether this particular data is equal to null or not. If it is not equal to null, then it will go inside the while loop, and now we have to remove this part because this line of code is being already executed over here. So guys, this is one of the efficient way we can provide the assignment of the data over here within the condition inside the while parenthesis. And now we simply have to print the data after reading the line one at a time inside our file. So guys, let me just save this file now and try running this code. So as you can see, now the first line is coming, that is, this is a test line in a test file, this is another test line. Now guys, it depends on your file, the content of your file will be read and displayed over here. So let me just add some more lines over here. This is line, and then I'll say this is another line over here, and then we have full stop. Now let me just save this file now, and after I come over here, let me just run this file once again. So as you can see, all the 4 lines, that is the content of the file, is getting printed over here. So guys, in this way, using only 4 to 5 lines of code, you can easily read the entire content of the file. So guys, practice on your own so that on different inputs you get different outputs. Guys, apart from this, there are many other methods inside the BufferedReader object. So as you can see, after providing br and then dot, we have different methods that can be used in order to manipulate or read the data from a particular file. Java BufferedWriter class with the help of examples. Now guys, the BufferedWriter class of the Java IO package can be used with other writers to write data in characters more efficiently. So guys, basically this BufferedWriter class, like any other writer class, can be used in order to write some data in an external file. Now the main difference between the other writer classes and the BufferedWriter class is that the BufferedWriter class is more efficient. That's because it writes a data in characters and it uses an internal buffer as well. So let us check the working of the BufferedWriter over here. So the BufferedWriter maintains an internal buffer of 8192 characters, which means it has an internal buffer of 8192 bytes over here. Now during the write operation, the characters are returned to this internal buffer first instead of the disk. So basically, the buffer is filled or the writer is closed, the whole characters in the buffer are returned to the disk. So basically, this reduces the IO operation between the disk and the program. And guys, this is the secret behind the BufferedWriter is more efficient compared to other writer classes. Now guys, the number of communication to the disk is reduced, and this is why writing characters is faster using BufferedWriter. Now guys, let us check BufferedWriter with the help of examples in the Eclipse IDE. So guys, over here we will first create an object of a BufferedWriter. So we have something called as BufferedWriter over here. So as you can see, Eclipse is suggesting us this BufferedWriter class, and using this BufferedWriter, that is BW object, we are going to initialize the BufferedWriter object. So new operator followed by BufferedWriter. So guys, in this way we initialize a particular BufferedWriter object. Now in the constructor, as you can see, it takes one parameter, that is the writer over here. Now guys, we cannot provide a direct file name which can be used in order to write the content, but we have to use another writer class in order to initialize this BufferedWriter. So what I will do is, I will use new file writer over here, which we have already seen previously, that file writer is also used in order to write the content in a particular file, and it has one constructor which takes the file name as the parameter. So we are going to use this constructor over here, and within the double quotes I am going to provide the name of the file. So where I want to store the file over here, so as you can see, I have two files over here in this particular directory. One is Java tutorial, the other one is a test file which I have used previously in order to read the content. Now guys, I will create another file, that is the output file over here. So I will take this directory path, I'll copy this directory path and paste this within the double quotes, and then I will provide the name of the file as the output.txt over here. So as you can see, this output.txt file will be created in this directory path over here as the third file. Now guys, after this line of code, I will provide the semicolon, and then guys, we are getting a red underline over here. That's because we have to handle the unhandled exception. So I will say first option, that is add IO exception over here. Now guys, we can use the BW object in order to write the content in the file. So what I will do is I will use this BW object over here. So we have BW followed by dot, and then we have many other methods that you can use in order to accomplish your requirements. So guys, over here I am going to use this write method, which takes one parameter, that is going to be the string, and it is going to write the content into the file. So I'm going to use this write, and it takes one string over here. So what I will do is, this is first line in an external file, and within the brackets I'll say output. So guys, this is the line, that is, this is first line in an external file, and inside the bracket we have output over here, and this is what we are going to store in our external file, that is the output.txt. And then guys, after writing this first line, let's say I only want this line to be stored in the file, what I will do is I will close this connection. So over here, by using the bw dot, we can have the close method in order to close this connection. So guys, let me just save this file now and try running this code. But before running the code, I will also have one statement that will confirm whether the file content is being returned or not. So over here, after writing into the file, I will have the print statement, and I'll say file content return successfully. So guys, I'll say file content return successfully over here on the console. So this will print on the console over here, and that is how we will come to know that the file has been created over here. Now let me just save this file and try running this code now. So as you can see, file content return successfully is getting printed. If we go to the directory, it will say output file over here, as you can see. Now let me just open this file. It says this is first line in an external file, that is output. And guys, in this way we can easily write content into the file. Now guys, let us say I want to add another line over here inside the file. So what I will do is, again I will just copy paste this line of code, that is the write method, and I'll say this is another line over here. So I'll say another line followed by full stop, and over here on the first line as well I'll say full stop and then space character. Let me just save this file and try running this code now. So we have over here file content returned successfully. Inside the directory path we have this is first line in an external file, that is output, and this is another line. So guys, in this way we can easily write the content using the BufferedWriter class. Now guys, let's say I want this second statement on the next line, that is the second line over here. As you can see, this is a continuous one line only in the notepad file. So what I can do is I can provide the new line character over here at the end of the first line. So over here, after the first line, I can provide this /n, which is a new line character, which will make the control flow go to the next line on the file when it is writing the content over here. So let me just save this file now and try running this code. So as you can see, file content returned successfully. If I go over here inside the output file, as you can see, the second statement is being written on the second line, and it is not being continued on the first line as we had seen previously. So guys, in this way you can write the content in the file. You can either have the continuous line of statements, or you can have them in the new lines as well. So guys, apart from this, there are many other methods that you can use based on your requirements. So when we provide BW followed by dot, we have something called as append as well, which will try to append the data at the end of the file or in between the file as well. Apart from that, there are many other methods that you can use in the BufferedWriter class. So we have come to the conclusion of this video. As I said, please make sure that you practice on your own so that on different programs you get the different output. Please make sure that you like this video so that it reaches to more people, and subscribe to this channel so that you get the notifications on upcoming videos as well. I'll see you in the next video. Till then, stay tuned.